For real, SBI Holdings and two other groups made the XRP move happen. We are going to talk about that and some other very useful information about the world cash supply because, well, here's the deal. The markets are at all-time highs when money supply is at all-time highs. This means that when there is extra money in the economy, people have extra money to spend, which drives up the prices of goods and services, including crypto prices. And yes, there is something really exciting going on with economic producers right now. And I'd like to show you a short little chart that will pretty much show you what I'm talking about. So here is the economic or money supply, the M2 money supply boom return chart for every year since 2000. You can see a pretty clear link, I think, between money supply and economic disaster and financial crisis. There are two really cool ones here. The COVID-19 outbreak and this one. As you can see, there was a huge rise in cash on hand when the markets went up because the cash machine was turned on. The same thing happened during the 2008 financial crisis. Right after that disaster, there was a huge printer outage and the money supply went through the roof. Shortly after that, there was a big drop because the Fed had to start quantitative tightening, which means raising interest rates. This is a good way to lower inflation because they print so much money. To put it another way, the Fed is definitely changing the economy to their advantage by printing a lot of money. When the economy is growing so quickly that there is high inflation, the government starts quantitative tightening. This means that there may be a lot less money in circulation, which causes stock prices to drop. They are in charge of the whole world's banking system, and I want to show you guys what happened right here. For the United States, this was the largest amount of cash we've ever had. After the 2020 outbreak, we hit all-time highs in 2020 and 2021. And of course, when we saw how crazy high inflation was, the Federal Reserve began quantitative easing. We saw a truly catastrophic drop in the total amount of money in circulation until we reached this truly crazy time period that we have never seen before in the last 40 years. This is where things went wrong on this picture. That's crazy, but you can see that things are starting to look normal again. Interest rates are going up, cash supply is starting to rise, and we're getting back to levels seen before the pandemic, which are around 5%. If we keep going up at the same rate we're going up now, we might have an insane bull run around the world. Specifically, if the Federal Reserve decides to turn on the moneymaker again, which I think will happen sometime around the end of 2025. This could make the bull run bigger if it does happen, similar to what happened in 2008 and of course in 2020, but we have to wait to see exactly what the Federal Reserve does because there are a lot of different things that could happen based on Trump's price lists and the effect that Trump's price lists have had on the market based on news reports alone. So I need to show you what happens when Reuters reports that 25% tariffs on Canada and Mexico are not happening on time because of sources. And then Trump says it's wrong. Reuters released a report yesterday or the day before saying that Trump was going to delay his price lists until March instead of February 1. Trump then went on air and said, no, that's not right. We're going to start the price lists on February 1st. And here's what happens to the markets. The markets react very negatively to tariffs, and there may be a good reason for that. The prices of goods and services will have to go up for all parts of the equation that are being lowered by these price lists. In other words, Mexico will have to charge more for the goods they sell to the U.S. To still make a profit, the U.S. will need some time to start making things in the U.S., which is why they put up taxes in the first place. To do this, the U.S. will have to spend billions of dollars on making infrastructure work. They may have to spend at least a couple of years building a bunch of new factories to make up for all the goods and services they will have to pay more for. In the meantime, U.S. customers will have to pay more for all of these goods and services for the next couple of years, which will lead to some really strange things. I really don't understand how that will affect the markets. On the one hand, you might think that paying more will cause the money supply to drop because customers will have less cash on hand and more money will go to Mexican, Chinese, and Canadian businesses that have to charge more for their goods and services because they have to pay this tariff. More money will also go to the government. So how do we know that the government will be more responsible with this money? We have never seen anything like this in recent history. So we don't know for sure that everyone will be more responsible with this money in a world that is financially uncertain. We still don't know how this is all going to play out, but most economists think that it will lead to better prices for everyone and higher rates for agencies. It will take a few years for the US. We're going to start making their own goods in the US. So we'll see how that goes. We don't really know for sure because we don't have many old records to look at for national tariffs, especially from the 21st century onward. So this is going to be very exciting. Having said that, there is a lot going on with XRP in particular. I wanted to share some really great news with you guys about what some founders, specifically a founder at Arrington Capital, have been saying about XRP. More and more people are using it and seeing its benefits, which I'm really excited about. So I just want to share this clip with you guys. Real short, people. That being said, this business is crazy divided into groups. There are Bitcoin maximalists, but everyone else thinks XRP stinks, and I don't get it. I think they're a real company that doesn't try to be something it's not, and they're just good at one thing, moving money quickly and cheaply. It's great. It meets a huge need. And for a hedge fund like us to denominate in Ripple and XRP just did the same thing is definitely right. We did our first close and moved more than $50 million into the business in Ripple and XRP in like seconds, and it cost 30 cents. That's great. You can't do that with fiat or Bitcoin. It's just not possible to do it that quickly and cheaply. So it definitely meets a useful need for us and also for our LPs in the end. They hope not at all, but when they want some of the money back, we're going to just send it in XRP again, and there's no 3-day wait for global wire. Someday expect us wires. We're not paying wire fees or anything like that. It's just that I don't understand why it's so hard to see. The non-secular wars and tribalism aside, it does some things perfectly, and we find it irresistible for that reason. That being said, just because we're denominated in XRP doesn't mean I'm a special XRP supporter. I don't work for them. The company itself isn't RLP. Other people who have had XRP are great, but they only make up about 5% of our assets. This is exactly what we need to hear. This guy has nothing to do with XRP directly, but he's using it, and the range of services that Ripple provides as it